going to Kansas City. If I could, I could, I could, I could. I'm going to Kansas City.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Chopping It Up with the Cleavers. My name is Emmanuel Cleaver III.
And I'm Emil Cleaver.
Make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is the end of the year review, so we're going to highlight some things that happened in 2023, big news story or stories that weren't big news. So the first thing I'm going to lift up, the Geneva Academy of International Humanitarian Laws and Human Rights says that there are 35 armed conflicts taking place on the continent of Africa right now. Other reports have said over 40 million people in Africa have been displaced. And here's why this is big news for me, is because it hasn't been big news in the country. We're hearing about wars. We hear about what's going on in Israel, in Gaza. We hear what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. But here, 40 million people have been displaced, 35 conflicts, and you barely hear about it. I've not heard about it on TV.
Not in the mainstream outlets. And that's because it's in Africa, and most people in Africa are black, so they're not going to talk about it here in America.
Black or brown. So yeah, they don't care about it. Why would they care that 40 million people are displaced?
Yes, I mean, that's big news around the world. It's not big news in America. Black people need to get away from this Western world agenda of making us only think that what happens in Europe and America is important.
Or in Israel, Asia, because that's right there in it's in Asia, but it's a little different. So I mean, I can't help but to believe that the reason why the United States doesn't care what happens in Africa. I mean, Europe doesn't care. I mean, they've already pillaged, colonized, stolen resources, and all those things. So that's big news. Nothing's happened. I mean, barely hear about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's America. One of the things that I want to point out, big headlines or big news in 2023, violence in America continues. Violence, America was founded on violence. Violence is the American way. It's just something that Americans believe in. But on March of this, gunman kills 19 in Lewiston, Maine. So Lewiston, Maine was the site of the deadliest mass shooting in 2023 in the United States, which, of course, if you name deadliest mass shootings, of course, around the world, of course, most of them are going to take place in America. But this gunman was killed 19 people, wounded 13, Lewiston, Maine. It was at a bowling alley and restaurant. So this actually happened toward the end of the second half of the year, but it didn't get as much attention as Sandy Hook or.
That's because we're used to it by now. It doesn't really matter.
And that's my point. We're so used to these mass shootings that it's not even a big deal. I think we say there's another mass shooting and then just go on with our day. But it's going to continue. These mass shootings are going to continue until we do something about it. The Republicans, when a mass shooting happens, they have a gun rally. The Democrats, once it happens, they talk about it, doing gun reform for about 30 seconds. And then they'll go back to playing politics.
Well, I think it's just they try to push something through, but there's resistance, and so it's sort of, we can't get this through. Instead of being like, hey, we're gonna make up a plan, we come up with a plan and push some real legislation through.
Right, but they only talk about it when things like that happen.
Yeah,
they don't talk about it year round. It only comes up when something happens. So that's one of my big news of 2023. Violence in America continues. Mass shootings continue.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is reports are saying violence in 2023 is down from 2022. But when you look around, like, cities like Kansas City that pushing its going to break its homicide rate. I don't know if it has or it's almost there, but so we still see a lot of violence, but it's down from years past, which just still highlights how much violence there is, that we can't notice it. You can't just notice and look. You have to actually go and look at the stats to see it did decrease a little bit. So
very little, but.
So another news, of course, Donald Trump became the first president indicted on federal criminal charges. So one thing that the state Supreme Court in Colorado said he couldn't be on the primary ballot because of an insurrection clause. And I'm like, you have to have a law to say a person that tries to overthrow the government can't run for president? I mean, that seems like a given.
Still a lot of Republicans saying that it was the Democrats are making a big deal out of it.
Making a big deal that people broke in. So what? They went in.
I heard Kellyanne Conway the other day talking about that the Democrats, that's all they think about is January 6th. January 6th. Need to let it go. But
I bet
if it was reversed, it would be a totally different thing. I mean, if the Democrats went in there and did that what these Republicans did, then the Republicans would be saying the same thing the Democrats are. And let me emphasize again, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat.
Okay.
I don't want to be categorized in either one of these groups.
So we had a criminal as president for several years, but because he knows how to talk, he has lots of worshipers of people who will do anything. It really doesn't matter if he says he didn't do anything. Then they'll believe him, or he can say, I did it, but I needed to do all these crimes, and they'll follow it because it's worship. They worship that man.
It's a beautiful thing to have people just believe and do whatever you say, no matter what happens, no matter what he does. People are just going to believe everything he says. I mean, it's just the fact that he goes around calling Joe Biden old, and he's maybe 2 years younger. I mean, says and people are running with this like he's not just as old or out of shape as Joe Biden is.
Well, I think he might be a little more out of shape than
I don't know.
Joe Biden.
So this period in America will be talked about for centuries. The first time an American president was indicted. One of those indictments for paying off Stormy Daniels, a porn star, which he supposedly had an affair with or whatever. And his lawyer, Michael Cohen, as you all know, has flipped on him. Rudy Giuliani is out here looking like like he needs mental help. He needs to be placed in a mental institution. Did you see that he was... I guess $134 million he has to pay to the victims.
Yeah, he ain't got that.
But he is now selling vitamins. Did you see that? He has
kind of vitamins. Like multivitamins?
Yeah, well, more than multivitamins, a whole bunch of different types of vitamins to try to raise the money. He has commercials for him, infomercials or whatever.
Let me tell you this: you all fall for this. Come on.
I mean, if you look at this man and you think he's healthy. And you want to take the vitamins that he's taking, then go ahead.
All he's giving you is some sugar gummies. Selling it as vitamins. That's crazy. Yeah. What else? Come on.
Well, one of the other big news in this 2023, I have them written down. There's a few. The things that I want to talk about are mainly the things that weren't in the national news or mainstream news on a regular basis. This was in the news, but on March 12th, regulators seized Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank, resulting in two of the three largest bank failures in U.S. history. So the FDIC insures deposits of up to $250,000. But if you had more than $250,000 in your account, that money will not be recovered. So most Americans don't have to worry about this problem. But there were people who earned that money and did not get that money back. So just everyone out there who, if you plan to hit the lottery one day or make it rich, just be sure that you only put $250,000 in your account, and the rest you need to invest somewhere else, because the government will not insure $300,000. $50,000 of that will be lost.
Man, that's a lot of money to lose.
Yeah, I mean it's a good thing that the government can guarantee that, but it's kind of crazy how a big institution like the bank can fail and the government is going to have its back. But if I start a business and fail, the government isn't going to help me one bit.
Yeah, well, because the thought is that these companies are too big to fail. If they fail, then it'll have a ripple effect in all these other companies. So it's not just that company, but the impact it has on that community.
Yeah, obviously they don't know what they're doing. They're bad business people, or it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So
to keep these people in business when they're probably just going to do it again says a lot.
Yeah.
That's America, though.
Yeah. Another thing, big news story that happened in 2023, that there have been in United States history over 11,000 people have served in the United States House. And of those more than 11,000, only 20 have ever been expelled. 2023, we saw someone being expelled from Congress, George Santos. George Santos was a dude, Republican. He lied about his very existence. We don't even know if he's real or he's AI. He lied about where he went to school, lied about where he worked, lied about his ethnicity, lied about his religion. And the thing about it is the voters fell for it and they put him in office.
He was Republican, so Republicans are going to vote for Republicans no matter what, and Democrats are going to vote for Democrats no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're the best candidate, if they're liars, if they're cheaters, if they're killers. All you have to do is just be a part of that party.
Thank goodness he wasn't a killer. I mean, we don't know. He could be a serial killer. There's no telling what this dude. He's lied about everything. But the American way is that he'll get a talk show or some kind of reality show.
CNN will have him. He'll be working at CNN in a minute.
Or Fox. I can see him at Fox. Why not?
I don't think Fox will want him. I think CNN is more likely. Just like they picked up one of them, CNN or MSNBC picked up Christie, Governor Christie.
That's CNN.
Yeah, so they have no credibility. Why do you think they would pick? I can't think his first name.
Chris
Christie. Why do you think CNN would hire this man after
ratings?
While he was in office, they trashed him.
Yeah.
But he lost. He lost. He's out of office, so they want to hire him just for ratings, and that says a lot about CNN's credibility.
Yeah, stop watching CNN,
ethical.
man.
Their ethical views. I mean, they are just as bad as Fox, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, that's a given that they're. I mean, it's all about ratings. It's all about ratings. So whatever else they do doesn't even matter. But George Santos expelled from Congress, but we'll see what happens. But that's crazy that people fell for it and they voted. How many other people are in Congress? How many other people have been elected that are currently serving that are just as mentally unstable as George Santos? We just haven't discovered it yet.
Well, we have discovered it.
Not everybody, because you see what's happening. Nothing.
We've discovered it. Just
only a few.
There's
people.
Nothing has happened. I mean, what's that lady's name?
Marjorie.
I mean, she's obviously insane, and is mentally challenged.
Yeah, but we haven't discovered everybody. There are more. Those are just the ones that we know of that need help. I bet you there are a bunch of others that, maybe their time will emerge where they'll show that, they're flying over the cuckoo's nest.
No, they won't. People in you get elected, and unless you're just outrageous like George Santos, you're gonna get away with it. You'll be able to die in office. Those people could get elected and they get power hungry and don't ever want to leave. They want to die in their chair. Yeah. Anyway, another big news. I guess it wasn't a big news, but Forbes magazine had this as one of the number one actually for future threats. The U.S. facing a rising threat of widespread civil unrest. So there was a poll taken by YouGov that reported 42% of Americans think there will be a civil war within the next 10 years. And I can't say I disagree. I don't know if it's going to be next year or 10 years, but the hate in this country is just growing. It seems to be growing and growing. And Donald Trump, he was a big part of that, his hate speech and throwing gasoline on the flames. But if you listen to conservative radio, they hate Democrats. If you listen to Democrats on radio stations, they hate Republicans. I mean, both parties are so blinded with hate for each other that they're ruining the country. And in the meantime, the citizens are just taking sides. And most of these citizens don't even know what's going on.
Now, a lot of times it's just like, okay, there might be one issue that the Democrats stand on. And so because I'm with this, I'm going to go with the Democrats regardless. And the same thing, this 1, 2 issues, 3 issues or whatever that the Republicans have, I'm going to stick with them. And the other stuff, I might not even know what it's talking about. But if they say no, then I say no. If they say yes, I say yes. And it is dividing the country. Not only is the party system dividing the country, but our news stations are a big reason for this hatred. And when it all goes, so it's just like, back in the 90s, the East Coast, West Coast beef. Yeah. That wasn't really a beef, but it was all the publications that really made it a beef.
Source, all of them contributed.
Yes, it was a magazines. This was issue between two people, really two crews. Yeah. But they made it an entire coast. The same thing is happening with media, that the media is pouring gasoline on this flame, and they are a big part of why.
I wouldn't call them news organizations.
Well, yeah.
They're not really
entertainment.
They're propaganda stations. CNN is a propaganda station. MSNBC is a propaganda station. Fox is a propaganda. I guess you can watch PBS News, since it's public. They have to be fair. They can't slant toward one side. So,
although they've been accused.
Yeah, they have. I mean, and I'm sure you know what side they go to, but they have been accused. But yeah, it's tough to get news nowadays because everyone's just going to give you their opinion. Or you listen to CNN, they're not going to tell you the whole story. They're just going to tell you the part that makes you mad at the Republicans. So, yeah, the threat in America, civil unrest, civil war, whatever you want to call it, it's a possibility unless things drastically change. We need a leader that's going to be respected by both sides, and I don't see anybody in the near future doing that.
No, that person hasn't emerged yet. What else? So another big news, LeBron James scored 38,888 points, making him the NBA leading scorer of all time. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I'm glad Kareem was there because, they've had some tension.
Kareem seems to be bitter in his old age.
But, Kareem is one who has never received his recognition and props because I know during his playing years, he wasn't as friendly. He was one that wanted to speak out on social issues, and people can say whatever they want to, everybody loves Muhammad Ali now, but let's be honest. Back in the 60s when he was protesting, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, he was hated.
That wasn't the case.
It's almost unbelievable how people say they love Muhammad Ali now, because if you do any type of research or anything, you'll see that he was hated.
Yeah.
People
Martin Luther King too.
Not just by white people. Black people too did not like Muhammad Ali. in the 60s.
But Kareem, he wasn't real friendly, and maybe he had good reason to be. He was a social justice fighter, and that wasn't popular back then. So he's never gotten recognition. You know, everybody's talking about when they have debates who's the best. Sometimes his name doesn't even come up, and they talk about Jordan and LeBron and all these things. But just keep in mind, rules were changed for Kareem. But anyway, LeBron breaks this record, and when Kareem set the record, people thought this is an unbreakable record, but LeBron has played since he was 18 years old, 19, however old. But I don't see anybody breaking his record anytime soon.
Kareem, no disrespect, because I think he is one of the greatest players of all times, obviously. But when he was breaking his record, they were trying to do it. It wasn't natural in the game. I mean, he was toward the end of his career. LeBron still seems like he can go 4 or 5 more years. You never know, but he seems like he's still one of the top. I don't watch the NBA. Is he one of the top 20 players in the league?
Like I watch it. Of course, he's still up there. I mean, he's still one of the best. So yeah, he's
one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, he's got a lot more years, so it will be tough for somebody. But look at the way the NBA is now. Like there's several people who score 30 a night. Back, in the day, 15, 20 years ago, one person, the league's leader, might score 30 points. Now, you got several players. I mean, they don't play defense.
Yeah, no defense, and people just throw up threes.
So. Scoring 50 in a game is not as big a deal as it was 20 years ago. Scoring 40, I mean, that's what everybody does because it's really just
Steph does that all the time,
all-star game. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but I'm saying even other players, there are a lot of players averaging 25 and over a game. Not like it was you might have 2 or 3. So I said all that to say maybe – if defense gets worse, somebody could break LeBron's record. Yeah. And even the scoring, I mean, teams are scoring 130 a game now.
If you get another player in there like Steph Curry who can shoot them threes, that record might be broken. Even though I can't imagine anybody being able to shoot better than Steph Curry, but I mean, I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah.
So one of the last of my top 5 biggest news was the Israel-Hamas war, which is...
Or the Israel-Hamas slaughter.
Yeah, however you want to call it. I don't know if it's a war. It's pretty one-sided. But probably the biggest news in the world right now, even though... Because not that it's more important than the conflicts in Africa, but it's... it seems like other countries are more concerned.
Other countries, especially the United States, have a vested interest.
Yes. So we are helping Israel, giving them money, giving them weapons.
So we know our weapons have been used to kill civilians.
Yes.
That has been proven. But now Biden finally is talking to Netanyahu, talking about stopping the violence, ceasing the fire, and Netanyahu says no. He's not
says no, son.
He says no, but finally,
to his son.
And so, well, he says that to every president because every president, it's not just Joe Biden. Every United States president
gives the British Prime Minister
unwavering support to Israel. We never
is the
look
British
at
Prime
both
Minister
sides.
the same way.
I don't know I'm sure.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that
they're not going to side. Nobody sides with Palestine, except there are Arab countries that side with them, but they don't. They do very little, if anything, to actually help. So, 20,000 people have been killed in Gaza since this war began. 20,000 people since October 7th.
I think they said it was a third of or fourth of the people.
I don't know. I just know 20,000
because
people.
There weren't a million
2 million
people.
Yeah, I thought there were 2 million people in Gaza. But it's 20,000. And the UN, the United Nations, says that Gaza is the most dangerous place in the world for children right now. And I'm glad Biden is finally trying to get them to stop.
Whispering.
But to get them to stop, you have to stop giving them money.
Yeah, stop giving them money and
giving
weapons.
them money. Stop it. And they'll listen. But how can you tell somebody to stop doing something and, you're still funding them? Stop. But the United States has to reevaluate its relationship with Israel. It can't just automatically jump to this aid when we know that apartheid was taking place in Israel. The displacement of Palestinians was taking place. This is all prior to October 7th. And please hear this. I know some will listen to my comments and say I'm anti-Semitic because I'm saying that. No, I'm anti-oppression. I'm anti-killing of innocent people. I have no problem with Judaism. Absolutely, no problem. D1 once said, I don't have a problem with anybody unless they serve the devil. That's me. I don't care what religion you are, what race, that's irrelevant to me. But when you're harming innocent people, I do have a problem with that. And the United States has to reevaluate its relationship. Now, the sad thing is, it doesn't matter who gets elected, whether it's Republican or Democrat, they're going to blindly support Israel. And
even Obama did.
Everybody, all of them do.
Sorry, people.
All of them.
Obama blindly followed them too.
So that's big news that so many countries are speaking out and saying the deplorable things that are happening in Gaza need to stop. But the countries with power that could actually stop it aren't doing it.
And this issue might actually cost Biden the presidency. I think it will. He probably is going to lose anyway, unfortunately, because people worship Trump and they don't worship Biden. The Republicans worship Trump. The Democrats barely like Biden. And a lot of them really don't. I mean, I think if you asked a lot of them honestly, they would tell you, we're kind of stuck with him.
I don't have an issue with Biden. I mean, he's done some good things. The infrastructure bill is something that doesn't get lifted up, but that's
because he doesn't say
big
it. Talk about
deal.
it, man.
It's
if Trump did that, he would talk about it.
My big issue with Biden is his support of the Israeli government and what they're doing. Like I said, I'm glad he's saying something now, but something should have been done a long time ago. And if Netanyahu's not going to listen, cut off the funds. He'll listen. But again, the reason why countries like the United States support, there are at least two reasons why the United States supports Israel all the time. One, because we've caused so much conflict with other Arab countries that Israel is our only ally in that region. I guess Egypt is as well, but we need allies. And so that's one reason why we support Israel. The other reason is because fundamentalist Christians believe that Jesus won't come back until Israel has complete control of the land. That's a flawed theology because my thinking is, why does God need us to do something? God can't come back unless we come on. That's not a strong God. If God has to have humans do something before God can react, that doesn't make any sense. I know your interpretation of the Bible. Anyway, I'm sorry for offending you.
Yeah,
but
humans, we need help. But yeah, it's pretty bad out there with this war, and unfortunately, there are a lot of children that are suffering. And in my opinion, we need to, and we've said it over and over on this show, the money that they're using to support this war could go to homelessness in America. Could end homelessness in America. Could go to mental health in America. I mean, there's a lot of things that this money can go to. And when they just pull out this money and give it away, it shows you that the government really doesn't care about its people, because they could have done that before. We don't need a war to know that we have hundreds of millions of dollars, billions, that could be used to make America a better place. All the troops around the world need to come home, and we just need to work on America, because this is, if you look at every great empire, everyone always say, be sure to know your history or you're bound to repeat it. Well, we're repeating history.
Absolutely.
We're falling into the same traps that the French fell into. Napoleon, there's a movie out right now. I haven't seen it, but I know this. I know the ending. They were spread too thin. They need to worry about home. All the great empires fell
Rome.
because they were trying to control the world instead of worrying about their own backyard. And America is that day is coming.
Yep. Everyone. The Roman Empire, Greek Alexander the Great, even though he died of a disease in his effort to expand the Greek territory, while he was doing it, there was fighting back home.
Yeah.
I mean, he left home unprotected in an effort to expand. I mean, you like everyone.
Every great empire.
Everyone.
Just worry. We need to worry about America.
The Ottoman Empire, all of them. The Huns, goes just down the line. But the United States was built on greed and capitalism. I know if I say something like that, oh, he's a communist. Maybe more socialist than communist. There's a difference, but most Americans don't know the difference. But I'm not completely against. Anyway, I won't get into economics.
I have a few honorable mentions that I want to give before we get into our top 5. The first gene editing technology has been approved for treating life-threatening diseases. This is big news. So they're saying that will be able to alleviate symptoms in patients with sickle cell. That's big news for black people because that disease only affects us. But and also saying that the gene editing could revolutionize medicine by eliminating inherited diseases, diabetes, things like that, enabling personalized therapeutics, and even unlocking superhuman abilities. And that's the issue that people have had in the past, that will be creating, superhumans with this technology, and we're playing God in a way. But if it can cure diseases, I think that we definitely need to keep on experimenting and with this. But I think this is great news.
Yeah. So there's a TV show on I don't know what it's on, called The Boys, that it's just about this. These humans who are super, but it's not. They weren't born. It's because of technology, because of advancement. It's a good show. It's a commentary on what's going on in society about idolatry worship. But just think about these people. This team of scientists discovered this. And it could cure all sorts of diseases, yet Time magazine named Taylor Swift as the person of the year. Think about that. These scientists have discovered things that could revolutionize human society. But because Taylor Swift did a world tour and made a movie, she's
we
the
worship,
person of
Americans
the year.
worship celebrities.
My goodness.
We worship celebrities. It's sickening.
There are people, humanitarians, who have gone around the world feeding, Doctors Without Borders, doctors not working for any salary in these countries. I mean, the list goes on. But Time, which is supposed to be one of the most respected publications, I can't respect it now. I mean, this is not the first time they've done something like this. But you name a celebrity because she's worshipped, and
Time magazine should have put the National Ignition Facility, the team, has repeated a nuclear fusion reaction resulting in a net positive energy yield. So what that means is fusion sources from the fusion source of the sun's energy could offer a nearly infinite source of clean energy. So in the future, we can use the sun's energy to power the world, so to speak. We can get rid of fossil fuel.
Republicans will have a fit.
Yeah, they will. We can get rid of a lot of things and just use clean energy, which the future generations will definitely appreciate. I know we kind of talk about it, but future generations are going to be suffering from the pollution of the world because of the things that we're doing now. So this is a good thing, and they could have been on the front of Time magazine instead of Taylor Swift.
Should have been. Anyway.
Few more honorable mentions for the year. Obviously, Tupac Shakur, one of probably the most famous rapper of all time, His murderer has been solved. Keefe D, dummy, admitted to being in the car, went around doing a media tour, wrote a book for some reason.
But now he's saying that it was all just entertainment,
Yeah,
what he was saying.
Anyway, he admitted he was in the car that killed Tupac, and he's in prison. Another big news in rap story, Sean Puffy Combs, who was an enemy of Tupac, has been accused of rape, torture, sex trafficking, and a few other things.
That's what he meant when he said, take that.
Yeah, and a few other things by a former artist, Cassie. Another woman has come out and said that she was raped by guys, Aaron Hall and Puffy. And people are expecting much more to come out because we've been hearing all these rumors for years. There's also rumored that Puffy will flee to Bali, where Russell Simmons, another rap mogul, fled from. Well, he didn't flee. He lives in Bali that does not have an extradition with the United States, and Russell Simmons was accused of rape by several women as well. And he says he didn't move there to get away from the criminal justice system, but he wanted to live there. It just happens that they don't have extradition, but. Those are some of the things. Hip hop is finally having its Me Too movement.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. But so we end the year with the favorite songs of 2023. Favorite songs of 2023. So I'm gonna start off with the five, and then I have some honorable mentions. But number 5, I have "Never Die" by Nas featuring Lil Wayne. It's probably the best verse I've ever heard Lil Wayne. I don't listen to a whole lot of Lil Wayne, although it's no disrespect. I know he does his thing and deserves all the credit that he receives. But for me, this was the best verse I had ever heard Lil Wayne. He killed it.
Yes, he did.
Nas always does his thing. But that's number 5, "Never Die." Number 4 is SZA, "Kill Bill." SZA is one of the few rare artists out right now in R&B. But if you've seen the movie, you'll understand the song and the video. It's like a whole production. So SZA, "Kill Bill," number 4. Number 3, "First Person Shooter" by Drake featuring J. Cole. And now they're doing a world tour, being here in KC in the spring. But like the song says, bigger than the Super Bowl. Both of them bodied the song. J. Cole, of course, never disappoints. You put him on the track with somebody else. So "First Person Shooter" came out toward the end of this year, so check it out. I'm sure you've heard it because they're playing it on the radio nonstop. Number 2 is "Don't Let the Devil" by Killer Mike. And Killer Mike has one of the best albums out in 2023. But "Don't Let the Devil," Killer Mike has always been that socially conscious rapper. There's some language in it, but he's still dropping knowledge. Number 1, the song I probably listened to most from 2023 is "All My Life," Lil Durk featuring J. Cole. Positive song, good message, but the melody and everything is nice, cool vibe. And of course, J. Cole does what he does. So that's 5 of the songs, and I have a few others that I'll mention later.
So I have, and in no particular order, it's too hard, Benny the Butcher featuring J. Cole, Johnny P's Caddy. Great song, lyrical genius. Both of them show their lyrical greatness on this song. Benny the Butcher obviously probably isn't as well known to a lot of people as J. Cole, but he definitely delivers. He's in a group called Griselda, 3-man group. They sound a lot like Wu-Tang to me, in a good way. But yeah, that Johnny P's Caddy is definitely on my top list of songs. Talib Kweli and Mad Lib, Nat Turner, song giving tribute to Nat Turner. Also, Fela Kuti's son is on the song. Another one of my songs, Lil Durk and J. Cole, "All My Life," catchy hook, positive message, along with Talib Kweli's song, Nat Turner, positive message upliftment of our people. Rihanna, Lift Me Up, another uplifting song from the Black Panther soundtrack. SZA, Snooze is another song I have on there. SZA, great artist, one of the great, best, I would say, R&B singers out now.
And Her.
Yeah, Her is number one.
Yeah.
E40, Bands was one
kills
of
it.
my favorite songs of the year. E40 keeps on doing it. I think he's released 30-something solo albums
Killing
or
it.
close to it. And every year he at least has 2 or 3 singles that are banging.
E40 doesn't get enough props.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't. I also have Tech Nine featuring Head to Dawn, Pull Out, which I just heard a remix, I believe, yesterday. They were playing on the radio. But a great song in Kansas City. Probably going to be one of the all-time big Kansas City hits when it's all said and done. But they've been playing that on the radio a lot, and it's a great song by Tech Nine. So those are some of the songs from this year. I think I just listed.
Yeah, I have also Still Believe in Love by Mary J. Blige. Been doing it for years and years and years. Killer Mike has another song that
Go check out his
heavy
old
rotation called Run. And then Office Hours by Nas. Some other songs that were in heavy rotation this year.
So yeah, instead of songs, I would say go check out both of Nas's albums that he released this year.
Man.
Go check out AZ. He just released a nice album. And who was the artist you just mentioned?
Talking about Killer Mike?
Killer Mike.
Yeah.
He has his album nominated for a Grammy for Best Album. I think Nas was nominated too for Best Album. But yeah, and King's Disease 2, which I believe is what Nas was nominated for, and I think that was the best of his projects. I think it was King's Disease 2, but because it was from, Grammy.
Oh yeah,
the
year.
They go
that's
from
right.
part of the year. So King's Disease 2, I believe, is nominated. But yeah, those are some of the great albums. I'm still listening to Her from 2022. Her last album, every single song was great. 5 mics. I know they don't do R&B like that, but 5 out of 5 mics is what her album should receive.
So let us know what songs we missed, what topics, big news stories that you thought were important for 2023. I also want to say, if you go to my Facebook page, Emmanuel Cleaver III, go to my Facebook page, I list in honor of 50 years of hip hop, my favorite 50 songs, hip hop songs by Kansas City artists. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know. So a few of you have been on there, said what songs, favorite songs from Kansas City artists you have on the list. So check it out.
Yeah, also got new music out on my YouTube page, Emil Cleaver. New album coming out soon, new musical album, new single out right now, Feel the Saxophone. You can get it anywhere you listen to music. Have a performance coming up December 30th at the Mini Bar.
It's on Broadway.
Saturday night, Mini Bar, KC. We'll be performing along with a few other great Kansas City hip-hop artists.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out most places you get your podcasts.
So Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Shalom.
Here I am, I come, that's where I'm from. I say I'm going.